Good morning and welcome to today's video. I'm your host B-Wit and welcome to my YouTube channel, B-Wit's Gone Fishing. In today's episode, as you saw in the title, we're going to be talking about how I got started fishing. I didn't want to script this at all. I want it to be as natural as possible so you guys can understand my passion behind it, why I love doing this on a week-to-week basis. All right, so first things first, let's just jump right in. We're going to talk about a little history. My first time fishing, of course, was way back when I was little. I barely remember it. Let's fast forward all the way up to about 2014, 2015. I was in Port Aransas, Texas. If you're familiar with the Texas Gulf Coast, it is a popular spot down here. Port Aransas is in Rockport area. But I was on a boat in Port Aransas and I was looking for something to do that's going to help me relax. I was working a very tough schedule with my job. I was stressed a lot, worried about certain things, a lot going on in my head, and I needed something to help me relax. And honestly, this day, it was beautiful. You couldn't ask for a better day. Bluebird skies, partly cloudy, birds were chirping, but we got on the boat, we just went out down the channel, and that ride alone just was so relaxing. And not only get out there and catch some fish that day, it changed my entire mindset. I understood, well, man, this is what peace is about. And honestly, guys, from that day, we were probably out 4 hours. And ever since then, I've been hooked. The rush of catching a fish, the rush of trying to understand what the fish are doing, the pattern, the weather, I just fell in love with it all. And it started off with me doing a lot of saltwater fishing in this area, especially Port Aransas and definitely in Rockport. I was down there a lot, fishing the jetties, fishing from the pier, fishing from the bank, just trying to get my feet wet and understand what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to tie a knot, guys. So what did I do? I just researched. I did my research. I looked at YouTube. I followed some guys on YouTube. And just watch them fish. I'm a visual learner, so it just naturally came easy to me to watch people do what I wanted to do. I wanted to catch fish, I wanted to have fun doing it, and that's how I got started into it, honestly. And a big shout out has to go out to my current fishing partner, Brock. Go give his channel a follow, Brock Sarama. I'm on there in a couple episodes of me and him fishing, but we'll get into that in a later part of this video. But long story short, he helped me out big time of understanding what to do, what to look for, understanding the rod, the line, the reel, because I had no idea what that stuff meant. I didn't know what line size was. I didn't know what braid mono fluorocarbon was. So yeah, I was super raw. And like I said, guys, I was just looking for something to do to keep my mind off of work, to keep my mind fresh. That was most important for me at that time. So I really became obsessed with jetty fishing. I love doing that, especially at night, because at night, you know, you just had the sound of the water hitting the rocks. You had the cool breeze coming in. You could, you know, take your food with you, cook up something, have a couple of drinks, and just have a nice time. And that's all I really wanted. And it got to the point, honestly, where I enjoyed that so much, I really didn't care if I caught a fish or not. I just really just wanted to get out and just relax, right? So fast forward into, let's just say 2018, 2019, maybe 2017, 2018, I'm sorry, 2017, 2018 is when I really kind of got into freshwater fishing. Freshwater fishing was different, of course. I had no experience of catching a bass. I don't think I ever caught a bass before in my life. But yeah, I got started into that. Luckily, you know, at that time I was living around a lot of places that had ponds, so that's how I practiced. And I remember my first bait caster. I think I backlashed that joker on like the second, third cast, and you know, trying to understand the braking system of that is a whole nother story. But yeah, I got started with that just because I was living around a lot of water that had bass, had catfish. And it's like, well, if I can't make it out to the Gulf Coast, then I can just fish around here. Or maybe the weather was bad, the wind was too high, something like that. I can stay close to home, didn't have to go far. I can, you know, go out for an hour or two and come back home. So it started with that. But things changed. And things changed because of Brock. And this is why I'm going to say my partner, my best friend, the guy I look up to as far as in the fishing industry, because he honestly, he's the one who taught me a lot. and he's the one who's got me addicted to this whole thing of freshwater fishing, fishing for bass, and fishing in tournaments. So I got introduced to my first tournament. I can't quite remember if it was either a Texas Team Trail tournament. I think it was the Texas Team Trail tournament was my first big tournament. 250 boats, TV crew and all that, and I was honestly hooked. This was the closest thing to like playing in a stadium like in college for basketball games. The rush that you get from it, the experience of everyone being there, everyone going out for the same purpose, the atmosphere, it was just cool. And we were fishing a smaller tournament series back home. Shout out to Bayou Bass League. We've been fishing with them for I think 4 years now, and it's been great. Just a bunch of guys getting out on the weekend every month fishing for some money and having a good time and fellowship. And I enjoy that as well. But that moment alone, I remember the Texas Team Trail here in Texas. We actually fished on Sam Rayburn Reservoir, and like I said, I was hooked, guys. Like I said, just for me, the atmosphere, being competitive. Yeah, I'm kind of quiet, but I'm also competitive, like on the low key side. But it was just a different rush from relaxing all the time. It was like intense because like you got to get out, we got to catch fish. We're going against like 250 other anglers. It's like you want to do well, you want to have fun, but the strategy behind it, I fell in love with, and I didn't look back. Still doing tournaments today. I look forward to my tournaments. I actually just had a tournament Saturday on Dickinson Bayou. We did not do well. It was tough day out there. We actually zeroed, guys. Actually, that kind of sucked, but we learned a lot, most importantly. And at the end of the day, we didn't hold our heads down because we knew we did everything we could to catch a fish and put a scoreable fish in the boat. We caught some fish, just wasn't scoreable enough. I mean, they have to be a certain size, and anyone tournament fishers knows that you got to be a certain size so actually bring to weigh in. And we did not catch the right size fish. But at the end of the day, you learn from it and you move on. Fast forward again. Now the biggest thing for me. Oh, let me reverse real quick so you guys can kind of get some context of my knowledge of freshwater bass fishing. So for me, number one, I had zero idea that there was a thing called freshwater tournaments, saltwater tournaments. And I guess I never done a saltwater tournament, number one, but I will coming up shortly, and you're gonna understand why here in a second. I had no idea who, the Kevin Van Dams, the Edwin Evers, the, Gerald Swindle. These guys, I had no idea who they were. Never heard of them. Didn't know there was such thing as tournament. And I definitely didn't know you could go fishing and win some money. That was crazy to me. And, big bass tournaments, like thousands of dollars per hour. And it's just like, I had no idea. This stuff was crazy to me. It was crazy to me because it's like, you mean to tell me I can get paid for throwing a worm in the water? Like that's, excuse my language, that's kind of badass. Like it really is. So that part to me is like, well, I can do something that I love and I could possibly win some money. I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. And then the fact that a lot of these pro guys, like, yeah, it's a struggle to get to the top and be pro, but the prize money is crazy. I remember fishing my first tournament where, I think it was $25,000 was on the line. The winner would get $25K, brand new boat. I think it was a Ranger as well, 19-foot Ranger, and a truck. I was like, what? Come on, they just giving you for fishing a worm in the water? But yeah, that's my history. I had no idea, guys. I had no idea about Bassmasters. I didn't know the history behind it. I didn't know how long it existed. Nothing. But because I loved it, and naturally with time, I fell in love with it. I did my research. I watched tons and tons of videos. I watched a lot of Bassmaster Classics just to kind of get an idea of how intense it was, what it took to be good, and watch these guys fish. It's crazy. It really is. It really is. So yeah, that's a little bit of history of like behind my tournament knowledge. Because I had no idea. But let's fast forward into now. Now, over the last few years, kayak fishing has become an insane sport. It's growing fast. There's a ton of anglers switching over from being in the bass boats over into the kayaks, which is cool as well. So there's a lot of good sticks out there for sure. Good competition. So I am brand new to this. This is something new, something I've been wanting to do for a couple years now. But I finally just kind of got the kayak that I wanted, did my research. I finally got something that was good for me. I felt comfortable in, big enough for me. I'm a bigger guy, so I didn't want something that was going to be small, something that wasn't going to allow me to stand up and fish and do the things that I like to do. But yeah, I'm in a Native Titan 12 right now. I love it. I can't explain to you guys how much I love that boat. It is solid. I can fish the way I want to. I can take all the stuff I want to. I'm still in the process of getting that boat fixed up and tournament ready. It is tournament ready in my eyes, but I really want to take my time with it and put the things on it that I want it to make me efficient and make me a better angler when it comes to tournament fishing out of a kayak. I absolutely love that. It is nothing more peaceful as of right now than getting out on the water in your kayak, no motor, and eventually, yes, I will be putting a motor on there before the comments start asking that. I am going to put a motor on there because I want to be able to motor around and most definitely spot lock in deep water. That's important. But we'll say that for the episode. But when it's slick calm and you're pedaling out there to your spot, the sun's coming up, you got your cup of coffee, man, it's so much peace. You're just thankful for all the things that you've been through, thankful for the opportunity to get out and fish. And I couldn't think of a better way to enjoy my time, honestly, when I have my free time. It is something that I look forward to at the end of my week. It is great. I challenge anybody out there, if you haven't fished from a kayak, I highly recommend. It's funny, in the forums I see the guys calling the bass boat guys the glitter rockets. I think that's kind of funny, but I mean, I fish from both. Both are intense, both are fun, but it's just a different perspective when you gotta set the hook on a fish in a kayak. You're right there on the water with the fish. It's so cool. So you guys stay tuned for more videos like that. But yeah, now I'm doing kayak tournaments. So for instance, honestly, my month looks like I have a bass boat tournament one weekend out of the month, and then I have a kayak tournament another weekend out of the month, and then I'm either fun fishing or practicing or making my own baits. So yeah, and I'm doing that now. So making my baits is fun because now I can have my own colors, my own combinations that I may like, and I still make some of the traditional stuff. The black and blues, the green pumpkins, the watermelon reds and all that. I still make those, but I can also create some combinations that some people just don't have. And I will be designing my own crawl here pretty soon. I really want to do that and have my own crawl. Like, you can't buy that crawl out of a store. Like, that's so cool. Brock's already done it. It's awesome to sit there and say, like, yeah, I designed that. I threw that bait and it hooked up fish. So yeah, that's coming soon. But right now, for my molds, all I have is a Senko mold. I have a crawl mold. I have two crawl molds, but they are the Zoom Speed Crawl and the Strike King Rage Bug mold that I have to make my own stuff with, and that's fun. You know, that's fun. Like I said, find your own combinations, and honestly, you can make enough baits that you don't have to go in the store and buy them. So that's pretty cool as well. So yeah, that's kind of my fishing story, guys. If you guys want to know more, if I need to make a part 2 to this video, comment down below. I'm definitely willing to do that. Like I said, I love this. I don't see myself stopping. It's something that, again, I do almost every weekend, depending on the weather for sure. But yeah, that's it. That's how I got started. That's where I'm at with fishing right now. And if you guys love this kind of content, I want to get more in depth with fishing on this channel. Just so you guys can understand what's going to be happening. I'm going to be posting tournament footage from both perspectives, from the bass boat and the kayak. I will be doing some saltwater videos now that we're getting some warmer weather here in the Texas area. I am going to be doing some saltwater videos. Please help me out with that. I'm not a saltwater specialist. Again, that is something that I just like. I will honestly go out there and throw my rod, you know, let it sit and just hope something bites. But I really just do that for relaxation. But I'm going to do that as well. Maybe some camping in there as well. I'm going to do some bait making. I'm going to do lure reviews. I'm going to do some how-tos as well. So you guys stay tuned. A lot's coming. I'm super excited. Again, thanks for clicking by today's video. If you can do me a huge favor, I want to get this channel big and booming. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you understand and see when I drop a new video. And until next time, guys, tight lines.